Be sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello out there, and welcome to another edition of the At Home with Christ podcast. This is our fourth season, and today we are going to continue our talk about anger, because anger, as you know, can ruin lives and can ruin your health. And also, anger can be characterized as two different things. Anger could be righteous anger, or it could be sinful anger. And so I want you to take a reality check and ask yourself, when you get angry, is it righteous anger or is it sinful anger? Now, let's begin by asking ourselves this question. When you really are angry about something, is it considered righteous or is it sinful? Because here's the difference. Something that is righteous anger is you are angry over something that is injustice. Just as Jesus was angry over something that was injustice. The injustice in the world, not what you think injustice is. Now, righteous anger is sometimes characterized by the things that goes on in the world. Children getting raped, women getting raped, or things that pertain to that. But listen to this. Sinful anger is out of selfishness and greed. So when we are angry sometimes, we have a tendency to have a sinful anger streak. And it is said that most Christians, if not all Christians, suffer from sinful anger. Now, it moves us to act not out of faith and love. And it is caused by irritable selflessness. You get it? You're irritable and you are selfish. And it's characterized also by grief or self-pity. So you start getting angry about something, but you need to ask yourself in the mirror, who else is angry with you? And what are you angry about? It's your own self-pity that is causing you to be sinfully angry. Now think about that for a minute. You have a problem or an issue and you become angry about it. So you walk around with this angry streak in it yourself, and you are not realizing that what you are angry about is nothing. It's nothing. It's not righteous. It's not justifiable. It's out of your own sinful anger, your own sinful self-pity. So stop the pity party, and then you'll realize that what being angry about doesn't really matter. Now, you think in your mind, is it righteous? And go on and try to solve the problem by having someone else solve the problem, or you try to solve the problem. But here's the problem. When we try to justify problems and things as righteous, we do not know. So we have to seek counsel and we have to pray and think about it. Is what I'm really angry about righteous? No, it's not. It's out of sinful pity. Well, that friend, that boyfriend, that girlfriend, they really hurt me. Okay, well, they really hurt you. Then you become angry out of self-pity, and then you want to retaliate or you want to do this or that. But what you don't know is that is a sin. Now, we also want to say that when you see walking around with this bitterness in your heart, that's a sin also. But we got to remember that we as Christians must learn to put aside our sin and anger and learn from it. The Apostle Paul said, set aside your anger. Set aside your anger, people, and listen and learn from it. Now, we must learn to first see if it's righteousness or is sinful, or is it mixed. So you have to analyze your anger yourself. Are you angry in a sinful way, or is it righteous, or is it mixed? Because sometimes it can be a little bit of both. It's injustice and it's kind of selfish, but it's mixed. And then you have to figure out, well, what do you do about it? Well, what do you do about it is you talk to God about it. You pray and you talk to God about it. And ask God what you should do about it. Because in the end, there's nothing can do about the problem but to pray about it and talk to your God about it. Now, Paul tells us the key to move from the flesh to the spirit is to walk by the spirit, and you will not carry out the desires of the flesh. Paul says the key to moving from the flesh to the spirit is to walk by what, people? Walk by the spirit. And you will not carry out any fleshly ideals. Now, got it? He is telling us if you walk by the spirit, we will not carry out the desires of the flesh. If you walk by the spirit, you won't be carrying out the desires of the flesh. You won't be getting angry and thinking, oh, I'm going to go out and kill this man. I'm going to go out and stab this man. I'm going to go out and hurt this woman. You will be walking by the spirit. Now, we also want to say that, remember in the Bible that Cain was angry, and God asked him, what is he angry about? Just like God is asking you and I, well, what are you angry about? And then you say, I'm angry about this or that. But are you really angry about this or that? Because sometimes God will ask you questions for information that will help you begin to think, what are you angry about? So when God starts asking you questions, don't get angry. Don't get mad at him. Just say, Lord, I think I'm angry because of this and that. And then listen to yourself. Listen to yourself and see if you sound sinfully angry, or you sound righteously angry, or are you mixed? And then, what are you angry about? Does it make any sense? No, it doesn't make any sense, people. It doesn't make any sense. So when Cain was confronted by God and he was asked what he was angry about, well, we all know Cain was angry because he was jealous over his brothers. So your friends could be angry over you because they could be jealous. And that right there is a sin, people. That right there is a sin. We know that God warned Cain about his anger issues, like he warns us that anger is at the door and ready to devour you. So I'm going to ask you this question. If anger is at your door, are you ready to open that door to let that anger devour you and eat you all up? Are you ready to be devoured by your anger? If you're not ready to be devoured by your anger, then don't answer the door. Don't open the door. Don't even start addressing the anger unless you have prayed and talked to God and you have learned that either your anger is righteous, is it sinful, or is it mixed? Now, we also want to say that the Bible tells us, like we said, that God will ask you questions for information for your own benefit. And we know that God warns us all about our anger. Just like Cain was consumed with his anger and murdered his brother, and he had blood on his hands. So don't let your anger consume you. And then you will have blood on your hands like Cain, because a lot of us out there are running around just like Cain, killed our brothers. Now we got blood on our hands, or we had someone else kill our brothers. So we're going to tell you to stop and listen to yourself and figure out what you're angry about first. Are you going to listen to God or have that blood spill all over your hands? And then we're going to say to you, it's easy to justify anger that is sinful because you think it's right, but it is wrong. You get what I'm saying? It's easy to think that your anger is justifiable, but actually your anger is sinful. It is wrong. And we want to say this, you can control your anger. You can control that sinful anger. By doing what? Setting it aside. By setting it aside. Remember that Christ died to take away the guilt of your sins and to give us power. So what are we trying to say? Set aside that anger. Don't let that anger devour you. And until next time, we'll continue our talk.
Be sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello, I am Julie Thomas, and the name of my podcast is it's a Well-Watered Christian Podcast for my social media podcast show, which is At Home with Christ. And now I want to tell you about my latest TV show, which is going to be At Home with Christ TV. And you can reach that and you can see all the episodes on Shrimp TV, on shrimp.com, so that you can go to this new platform, which is shrimp.com, and look for At Home with Christ TV under London. It is a fantastic show, and we hope that you